Hello, my name is Jason JROCK Houston. You guys are listening to Under Influence. Tonight I'm speaking with lead singer, guitar player Lenny Holmes from the Jimi Hendrix tribute band Hendrix Lives, and you're based out of Richmond, Virginia. Is that correct, Lenny?
Yeah, that's right. Hello, everybody.
And share with us, Lenny, how did you first get into the music of Jimi Hendrix?
Oh, wow, man. When I was a kid, actually, one of my aunts started playing me like a lot of cousin-age guitar players. I was always fascinated with the guitar at a very young age. Some of the greats, Randy Rhoads, Stevie Ray Vaughan, just to name a few, Ernie Isley. There's a lot more, Gary Moore and those cats. And she turned me on to Jimi Hendrix, man, and it was quite an experience seeing him doing all the tricks. I was really fascinated with the way that he used the feedback and doing, he was an innovator, just doing things out of the norm with the guitar. It really just kind of hooked me.
That's cool. And now let me ask you, Lenny, do you remember what was the first Hendrix song you learned how to play?
The first Hendrix song that I learned how to play was actually Foxy Lady.
Oh, wow.
That little lick. That thing. I thought that was pretty cool. That was my first one.
Oh, cool. Now, you obviously, as you said, started playing guitar at an early age. Were you always a singer as well, or did you become a singer later?
I became a singer a little bit later, just like Jimmy. I didn't think that I had very good vocals, and people would always tell me that, they thought that I had a bit of a raspy, but kind of a high, middle to high voice, and I just took it around with it. Back in the day, I played in some cover rock bands, and we covered everything from Led Zeppelin to, Night Ranger, Aerosmith, just the standard rock groups, and I was able to, pull off the vocals. So, switching over to Jimmy, I don't know, one of my pet peeves is that my voice is higher than his.
Yeah.
So I really have to focus on singing in a lower tone during the show.
Okay. And now, you're in the band Hendrix Lives. How long has the band been together?
The band has been together now, actually out and working for a couple of years, and doing quite well. Over here on the East Coast, we've played at the Cafe Wa in New York City, and that's a club where Jimmy used to hang out and where he used to play.
Wow.
We also had the opportunity to have Mr. Juma Sultan sit in with the band. He's the original percussion player that played with Jimmy on stage at Woodstock, and that was awesome having him with the band. We've also run across quite a few fans that have actually seen Jimmy. So, of course, one of my first questions to Juma was, what do you think? And he felt as if the band was very close. Jimmy's brother said that Jimmy's brother heard it and said that, he also thought that it was close. The Hendrix Foundation has given us their blessing.
Cool.
And they support us. Yeah, man, it's really cool.
Wow.
Really cool.
And so let me ask you, I was looking on your Facebook page, and I got to say, looking at photos, your stage outfits, and even you yourself look like a lot like Jimmy. Does that take a lot of work, or do you kind of naturally look something like him?
Well, Jimmy rocked the afro. That's kind of natural.
Yeah.
Rock, the afro. And the clothes, some of the clothes, I really dug anyway. Because it's rock and roll gear. We went and ordered some things over in Europe. Some people over there that make clothes. And we did a lot of research and found out that Jimmy, when he was in Europe, hung out at a lot of the vintage clothing shop. And they wore that kind of, colonial-looking vintage wear. And then he just, the red velvet bell bottoms or, the colored pants and all. We just pieced that stuff together and made it work, man. Thanks for noticing that.
Yeah, and I was curious, when you got the idea to put the band together, was it necessarily just that you were a Hendrix fan, or did you have people telling you for years, you look and sound like Jimmy? What was it made you first decide to put the band together?
Well, a couple of things. Number one, our manager, Severio Maria, is our manager, and he lives in Colonial Heights, Virginia. By the way, I might as well name the band. His son, Severio Maria Jr., he plays the bass guitar, and Mr. Chris Hummel is our drummer. And they're all from the Colonial Heights area. Severio managed the Ozzy Osbourne tribute band.
Wow.
And he saw me open for them, not doing Hendrix, but just playing regular cover rock and roll.
Oh, okay.
And he contacted me and said, man, you would make a great Jimi Hendrix. And I had received some comments before, because I've been over to Europe with the Electric Miles Band, which is the late Miles Davis's band. And I went over, Michael Henderson was the band director then, and now we played at Ronnie Scott's. I went in there behind, it was a Marshall convention, and Jeff Beck was right there before me. So, yeah, we received some comments, and some of the comments were, wow, this guy reminds me of Jimmy. And so it all kind of came together, but it definitely was Severio's idea.
That's amazing. Now you said that previously you'd been in a band where you just did all kinds of different covers. So when you got the idea to put Hendrix Lives together, did you have any reservations about doing a tribute band, or is it something you always kind of wanted to take a shot at?
Well, yeah, because I pretty much pride myself as being my own.
Yeah.
My own image and my own thing, and it took a great deal of studying to develop his personalities, some of his stage things. I did do some of the tricks naturally, like playing the guitar with my teeth behind the head, between my legs, and all. But Severio was like, let's burn a guitar. So we practiced the technique of how he actually did that with the lighter fluid and all, and it really came together and worked. And now that I kind of have it down, it's actually a lot of fun to roll in. I still, to this day, right before a show, I throw on some live footage of him, and I watch and study. So it's a constant thing to try to have that person's personality. It's not something that you just get and go, okay, I got it. I have to constantly look at his concerts. And I have footage of them all, so I've seen, all of his shows. So I just throw one on, study it, and then we go to rehearsal, and there you go.
See, I mean, that's totally amazing. I mean, that's why I started doing interviews with guys like you that are playing tribute bands, because a lot of people have misconceptions about tribute bands. They just don't understand what it is. I mean, it's one thing, like you said, to get up on stage, just in jeans and t-shirts and play a bunch of different cover tunes, but then when you take it a step further, like with what you're doing, you get up there and you dress the part of Jimmy, you sound like him, you do a show just like what he did. You're taking it, it's almost a rock and roll theater. You're taking an extra mile and giving people a real show for their money. And I think a lot of times people don't understand, what tribute bands are. A lot of people have a misconception. Oh, these guys are failed musicians. They're just making a living off of other people's music, but that's really not what it is.
You're absolutely right, Jason. I tell you, it takes a lot of nerve and a lot of guts to say that you're going to do a tribute band and be good at it. I mean, we studied everything. If you notice, I use the Marshall stack on stage. Not half stacks. I use, what he used. I use the full Marshall stacks. My strats are custom. I have a couple with the upside down neck, the headstock on it, and the All-American. And we go through great lengths to reproduce the feeling of what that was. And in order to do that, I would have to say that a musician would have to be at a certain level to even try to emulate someone else. And I just want to get this in. I want to say thank you to all the fans. People have just commented on our page. There's been several people coming up in tears after the concert saying that they felt exactly at the Hendrix concert. I really am honored that some of the fans actually have seen Jimi and came to the concert and said, wow, this is absolutely the best tribute band that I've seen. I'm really honored that people see it and they like it. There were even some comments of people saying, Jason, that, I didn't want to come to see you guys because I thought it was just going to be another cover band, messing up Jimmy's music, but I was quite impressed, and I will be at the next show. So, I'm really honored that the fans are catching on to it.
Yeah, and I mean, if you've got the if you got the approval from his family and the official Hendrix corporation, I think that says right there, because they're not just gonna give a thumbs up to anybody. It shows that you've gone to that length to you're that dedicated to put on that good of a show for people coming to see you. So I haven't even seen your show, but I think if you got those people backing you, then you got to be doing something right.
Yeah, definitely. The Hendrix Foundation, they were in support of us. And actually, when the Jimi Hendrix movie was about to come out in Canada, they were trying to get us to fly up and be at the opening premiere. But the producer of the show had already had the script and the time slots filled, and they could not figure out a way
to make it happen.
To get us on. So we weren't able to get on that. But since then, we've a number of label executives have seen us, and they're like, wow, we feel like you all could really, do a movie or something. So it's very exciting, and we're in the process of actually going to record a Hendrix sounding album. We have a couple of songs now, but we're going to go ahead and do a whole Hendrix sounding album, and it'll kind of be what he would be like now. We're trying to give the fans an idea of with that album of what he would probably be like now. So as a writer and a producer myself, it's very easy to incorporate those type of tones, those type of chord changes into some newer stuff and to do like a combination. So I'm excited about that as well.
Yeah, it'd be a cool idea, if you're going to go to all that trouble putting out an album, like you said, kind of put out, some original sounding, original tunes that have kind of a Hendrix influence. And since you got the Hendrix Foundation, behind you, it'd be great, like, if maybe you could have, like, a second disc of, maybe you doing Hendrix covers, since that, what you're known for.
Absolutely, and that is definitely, that's not out of the question either. That would definitely be a question that once we got everything together, that we would, probably have our manager approach them about. I just want to say too, I'm very excited that we're with a booking agent called Suncoast Musical Entertainment out of Tampa, Florida. And I hope I said that right, but we're really excited to be with our first agency, and they do all over the United States. So right now we're focusing on the East Coast, but we're definitely working our way out there. We hear that there's some hot spots around Texas, and I would love to. There's some fans that have hit our page from the LA area.
Yeah.
And we just want to say to them that we're on our way. Just hang tight. You can stay posted on the website, www.hendrixliveband.com, and that will keep you posted. When we do concerts, we usually put a couple of video clips or some new comments or what have you. All that stuff is very accessible through going to the website.
Yeah, I mean, this is really a business. It's more than just a rock band. I mean, because I don't think a lot of people realize all the hard work and dedication goes into putting on a even just a tribute show like what you do, and that's part of the reason we're doing these interviews like this, Lenny, and in LA we have a pretty good tribute scene here where I live, but the amazing thing is I can't think of one Jimi Hendrix tribute out here. Are you, they're starting to creep up, across the United States, but are you surprised there are more Hendrix tributes out there?
I'm not surprised, because I tell you, it takes, number one, let me say this, there'll never be another Jimi.
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic guitar player, the things that he did, the way that he used the instrument, approaching it from the left-handed approach, that awkwardness was turned into greatness. And there's not a lot of guitar players that go after that kind of thing. I'm very much a rock influenced guitar player. If I had to pick a favorite, it would definitely be the blues rock thing. I mean, I love all that 80s rock. I love all those bands. I love when the guitar really, in rock and roll, the guitar's always been in the forefront. But for some reason in the 80s, man, you got all those blazing guitar solos, and I just love that stuff. 70s, 80s. And to even go back a little further and find that they were really doing that stuff, in the 60s, it just got fine-tuned a little bit later.
Yeah.
But, yeah, man.
So we're talking a little bit about the Jimi Hendrix movie that recently came out. I'm assuming that you've seen it, so I'd like to get your take on it. What did you think?
Well, I think what actually happened is the movie people did not have the rights to the music. Whatever company it was, I don't know.
Yeah.
That, but they didn't have the rights to the music. So the movie is only from when he was a kid up to right before he started to take off. And what I would have liked to done, or would like to do, is let people actually see what it was like to re-emulate some of those concerts.
Yeah.
The footage behind the scenes of the tour, the dates, and that kind of stuff. So I'm very excited to just keep my ears open for, maybe the next Hendrix movie that goes a little further.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good for what it was, but I thought too, I would have preferred like a movie with, if you're gonna do a movie on the guy's life, touch on his whole life, not just a little, like a little tiny chapter when he was just first coming up. I would have rather seen, something where they go from, maybe like Ray Charles movie, something like that, where they go from the time he's born up till he, dies.
Exactly, and that's more of what I would have liked to see too. I agree with you there. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you told me part of what you do when you first started doing this is you learn to do a lot of the tricks and physical, like playing the guitar with your teeth. How long did that take you to really get good at?
Wow. Good question. I grew up in Richmond, Virginia, and back in the day, it was very competitive. Guys had no problem hurting your feelings, man, if you couldn't play. So, we were always looking for that next thing. And like I said, I got some footage of Don Persh's rock concerts, and I got some footage of, Midnight Special, and I just was so fascinated with the guitar players. And then when I saw Jimi, and he flipped that thing off and started biting it, and took it behind his head, and it was incredible. Chuck Berry used to do the between his legs,
Wow.
The straddling the guitar thing. And when I saw all that stuff, I was like, that's it. If you're gonna play it, then make a show out of it. Be a show with it. And then I saw Stevie Ray Vaughan later, who I love, and then guys like Satriani and Vi came in with all of this super technical stuff, but still had tons of feeling along with it. Gary Moore, Randy Rhoads.
Yeah.
I can just keep going. It's just tons of guitar players, and I like them all, man. Everybody brings something different and new to the table.
Yeah, I gotta say that now. In regards to the show you put on, curious, do you mostly cover just the experience, or do you throw in any of the Band of Gypsy stuff?
Well, we're just stretching out a little bit, but I wanted to be really careful with that because with the tribute band, a lot of people that may not know Jimi, they only know the majority of the experience stuff or the stuff that went big for, like Freedom, stuff like that. But we do the best of the best. We didn't want to, because we have to be, we have to be exciting. So we just do all of the experience stuff, Foxy Lady, all of that stuff. We do Red House, Purple Haze, of course.
Yeah.
We do the Star Spangled Spangled Banner, just all the freedom. We do a version like Jimi did of Johnny Be Good. We do Manic Depression.
Wow.
All kinds of stuff, man. We just pick the hottest of the stuff and model the band after that. Very high energy. Some people saw him sometimes and he was, kind of buzzed out, but he was a little more subdued. But we went after the early hungry Jimi Hendrix stuff when he was just really ripping it all night.
Wow.
That's how we modeled the band.
Wow. And do you have like a favorite song that you really get off on playing, or do you just love it all?
I actually have learned to love all of it because the things that are in it is just great guitar work. And once I became comfortable doing it, then I actually started having fun with it. And then I could really work more on the character part of it rather than thinking about, what I was playing. So it got to be fun. That's how come even today, I still watch these videos all the time because now it makes me even draw nearer. I remember doing an interview where this may sound crazy, but I even thought like sometimes I kind of spiritually connected to him a little bit. Things were really that close.
Wow.
It's a good feeling, man. It really is.
And now, as a fan, I got to ask you, what do you think about a lot of this stuff? He's relatively young when he died, but a lot of his albums have been repackaged and reissued. Are you a fan of when that stuff happens, or do you think that they should just leave it as is?
Well, as long as if the proceeds are going to the family and they're not altering it too much, as long as it stays all Jimi and not some other guy trying to step in and play, even me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dare try to go and do anything and say that, this is a Jimi Hendrix record. I mean, we have to be very, very
careful.
Aware of the fact, there's a line, that's crossing the line. I'm not him, so I could never or would never, and I wouldn't think that anybody else would.
Yeah.
Now you can do a remake of one of his songs.
Yeah. I mean, I think.
Hendrix lives doing a Jimi Hendrix song. Okay, now we understand, but for me to go behind a dark wall and try to say that this is Jimi, I think that would be crossing the line.
Yeah, I think I think most people know that he's passed on, but you brought up a great point earlier. I mean, one thing that I remember the first time I saw a Guns N' Roses tribute out here in Los Angeles called Hollywood Rose. I went to the show and the guy looks dead on like Axl Rose, and the rest of the band looked the part. I could have sworn it was 1987, Guns N' Roses all over again. They were that good, and like you say, and like you say, for somebody that might never get to see Guns N' Roses again with the original lineup. You're taking somebody back to maybe their teenage years when they first saw the band for the first time or something, and that's what a lot of these tribute bands do, and you can give your audience a magical concert experience, and it's just it's a great rock and roll theater, as I like to call it.
Yeah, and Jason, it's great that you should say that, man, because I just want to say that we do a lot of big theaters, we do a lot of big arenas, and we do a lot of small clubs. And anybody that knows Jimi, he either. I think he even favored the smaller rooms because it was a little more up close and a little more intimate. So you really got to be, up close and get to see the thing. The only thing that I do that he didn't get and he probably would have done is I play wireless. And the reason for that is it just gives me so much more freedom. And doing some of the guitar solos like in Little Wing and some of those things, I'll come off the stage and I'll walk out amongst the crowd, right up close so that people can really, really get into it and be a part of what's going on there.
And like
you seem to really, really like it.
And like you said, that you kind of feel spiritually connected to him. So like when you're up on stage and you're playing the part of Jimi Hendrix, so to speak, are you really feeling like you're in your Jimi mode, if you know what I mean, or a few minutes before you hit the stage, you really got to get in the mode, if you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I feel away, and most of the time I watch videos the whole day, and then I do steal away, and hey man, I try to connect, down to some of the lingo. Hey, peace, brother, how you doing?
Yeah.
That whole thing. Try to just get into the character, and then once the show is going and everybody's in that vibe, then you can put a little bit of yourself in it. But I still like to keep the same idea and the same focus. The show is kind of geared. We looked at his lineup and where he did the songs in the order of the show, and we kind of kept everything really, really authentic as far as that stuff goes.
Cool. Yeah, and you're saying something about working on an album. I think it'd also be a cool idea if you could get it together, maybe to like make a documentary or some type of movie, so people could see what it takes. It's more than you just going up on stage and putting your guitar on. I've seen a lot of what it takes for a lot of these tribute bands, to get in the costume, even you take like Kiss tributes, they got to get in the makeup and stuff, and it takes, it's a lot of hard work, and I don't think a lot of people really, I think they'd be surprised to see all the hard work that goes into it.
Yeah, well, Jason, we really appreciate it. We do have a camera crew that's been following us around and beginning to get a lot of different clips and catching the guys, and not just me, but catching the other guys.
Oh, of course.
Behind the stage and stuff like that.
Well, of course, being that you play the part of Jimmy, you're kind of a focal point of a band. But even in the experience of other guys, Noel Redding and Billy Cox, they were just as talented as Jimmy. They brought a little something to the table as well.
Oh, every bit, man. Severio Maria the third is just an awesome. Actually, here's something that I think is really cool. Our bass player, Severio Maria the third, he was a guitar player, and he elected to play bass for us, which automatically gives him like a Noel Redding type of style on bass, because he kind of uses a guitar approach. Chris Hummel, he actually came from a heavy metal band, but he did the same thing. He studied, and he does a really good Mitch Mitchell.
Wow.
He's a really good Mitch Mitchell. I mean, he even downsized the kit and everything to like really, really, go after the Mitch Mitchell thing. So, yeah, I admire those two guys, man. Those two guys really dug in, and they give me a lot of support. They really do.
And typically most bands, are either got 4 or 5 guys in them, and like Jimi Hendrix experience was a trio. So I was curious, is it any different for you playing, just as a 3-piece band as opposed to being, playing with 4 or 5 guys?
Yeah, a lot different. I played in some bands where there was 2, and then some bands where there was 3 guitar players and keyboard players. So there's not a lot of room to play, so you don't have to play as full. But in a 3-piece band, you got to be on the chorus, and you have to be on the leads as well. So the first thing that I noticed that my guitar tones had to be tones that I could solo with it, and I could chord with it. It couldn't be too clean, and it couldn't be too dirty. I guess more of a bluesy rock kind of tone, because I could control the sustain by the volume. So a lot does go into it. But the other 2 people that you play with in that tribute band, they have to have the mindset of just plowing forward and not depending on any other instrumentation as well. That just has to be the mindset in a power trio. You just got to kind of like, plow through. Some people, not a lot of people really can pull that off.
Yeah. And now, from your own experience, is it a little easier, like when you're in a band with another guitar player, where you got a rhythm player, where you guys can kind of, go back and forth, play different parts? Is that easier, or if you had a preference, do you prefer that, or do you prefer being in a band where you're the sole guitar player?
It's definitely harder to be the only guitar player and the lead singer.
Yeah.
There's no room material so well that you're able to play it and sing it.
Yeah.
And sometimes the lyrics don't line up with the guitar lines. Like Manic Depression, that's a difficult song to play and sing because the song is made up of a riff. It's basically a guitar riff that you're playing, and you're singing against that riff. So some of the songs that we worked up, I literally had to learn to do a riff going one way and then have the singing harmony, the singing melody going another way. So some of that stuff took, just some strenuous rehearsal. We didn't throw Manic Depression right in the show. That was one that took some time. But it's a very fun song to play.
Yeah, and now let me ask you about this album that you're working on. Have you started working on it yet, or is it something you're going to get started on working on soon?
Yeah, we have a single called Free. It's very much really Hendrixy. We're not going to do anything with the single because we want to get some more songs together before we want to at least get enough, maybe for an EP, six or eight songs. But really the goal is to do a whole entire album and then probably present that album to see if perhaps the Hendrix family will allow us to do a remake or something on it.
And now let me ask you,
we want all the other function and everything could go to them. All we want to do is honor Jimi by remaking one of the songs and putting it on the record.
And let me ask you, once you get those 6 or 8 tunes together, any chance you would be adding any of those songs into the live set, or do you think you would do something separate on the side to promote that material?
Yeah, what we would do, depending on the type of shows, we've done anywhere from a 2-hour straight through show to where we've opened. Now, if we're the opener for some other bands, then obviously we would just do our Meat and Potatoes, which is the most popular songs that Jimi had, because we probably only get 30, 45 minutes.
Yeah.
But on our long sets, we're the headliner.
Yeah.
Absolutely. After we've done everything, then we probably would play, 1 or 2 songs.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. Yeah. That'd be a very cool thing, dude. Not a lot of tribute bands do that. I think it'd be a cool thing to keep things, fresh for the band and give a little something back to your audience,
Yeah, man. And that's exactly what we're after. We're trying to do exactly that. Keep it going, really just to remind people of what it was like, and at the same time, just keep it going. We just honor Jimi and his music, and I just think that for the kids that's coming up now who never got to see him, what we try to do is we try to give people an idea of what it was like. And I'm just honored that a lot of people feel that it's really, really, really close, especially when we get comments from those that have actually seen Jimi.
And let me ask you, Lenny, have you ever heard of a band, Steel Panther?
No, I have not.
Well, I urge you to go online and check it out. They're these guys that, if you will, they're kind of a tribute. They're kind of a tribute band to a tribute, in the sense that it's kind of like an '80s style rock band. They record and write their own original tunes, but it's very much they look like an '80s hair band, if you will. And and the lead singer, his name is Ralph Senez, and he goes by the name of Michael Starr now, but he got started out here in the Atomic Punks, which was the first official, really big Van Halen tribute out here, and he was known for doing David Lee Roth, and he left that band for a while to go to L.A. Guns, Tracy Guns, and he actually he actually left L.A. Guns to go back to do the David Lee Roth thing because he was making more money, believe it or not, doing the tribute thing. And now he's got this band at Steel Panther, and they recently opened up for Judas Priest, and he's just laughing all the way to the bank. So when people think you can't make it in a tribute band, that's not necessarily true. And even if there's this all-female Iron Maiden tribute out here in LA, they've taken it all.
I've seen them.
They've taken it all over the world, to Germany, Russia, Mexico. So you just never know. If you're that good, you could get all over the world.
Well, you're absolutely absolutely right, Jason. There's been a few tribute bands, not knowing how well they do it, but there's one or two tribute Hendrix bands going around, and just to throw some figures out there, they were getting really good money. $10,000-$15,000 per show, and for someone who does not have original material or have a hit record out or backing from a major label, I would say that's pretty good money. Not bad.
Well, I gotta say, Lenny, I really enjoyed talking to you. Before I let you go, though, I wanted to ask you to do me a favor. Keep my phone number and my contact info, because when you get ready to drop, when you get the 6 or 8 tunes done, I'd like you to get in touch with me, and we could do this again. I'd help you promote the album, get the word out. I really enjoyed talking to you. Is there anything else you'd like to say to people before we let you go?
Yeah, I just want to say, man, we appreciate everybody that tune in and listens to your show, and we appreciate that. Where Hendrix lives, we'll be coming out on the West Coast, and once again, go to our website if you want to see some videos or see some promo work that we're doing. We'd be glad to have you guys join us as friends also on Facebook. Please join us on Facebook, Hendrix Lives Band on Facebook. Pretty easy. Once again, my name is Lenny Holmes. Our manager name is Severio Morea. Bass player is Severio Morea III. And our drummer, Mr. Chris Hummel. And our manager, our booking agent out of Tampa, Florida, is Suncoast Entertainment.
And Lenny Holmes, my friend, once again, it's been a pleasure talking to you. And I just want to say before I let you go that Hendrix definitely does live through you, I think, because in just talking to you, I can hear your love in the voice, in your voice every time you talk about your love for Jimi. So keep doing what you're doing, and I'd love to see you guys make it down here to LA where I live, because right now there's not a single Jimi Hendrix tribute that I'm aware of out here. So there's definitely a need for what you do. So keep it up, my friend.
Jason, thank you so much for having us on your show. And as things get better, man, hopefully you'll have us back. We'd love to come back.
Oh, like I said, when you get that EP ready to go, let me know, and we'll help you get the word about, and we'll do this all over again. And just do me a favor later.